Hello, everybody, and welcome back, as always, to this episode of Magnificence. I am G. I am your Dungeon Master today, and every time we play our wonderful campaign here, let's go around just for a bit of a refresher and have everyone introduce themselves again. We haven't done so in a little while. So I will just go ahead and go around our virtual table and have everyone introduce themselves. We'll go ahead and start with Emma.
Oh goodness, why do I always have to go first? Hi everybody, my name is Emma. I am a TTRPG actual play producer, actor, all-around nerd. I am the founder and creative director of TTN, and today I am playing Kuvos Nemenath, the little Triton boy who is from the Conclave and is very concerned by all the things happening. Just in this day alone, and as G said last time, the sun hasn't even risen yet.
Amazing. Next up, we have Rosie.
Yes, hello. My name is Rosalie Mulliken, or Rosie for short. I am playing Sage Xenius, a woman who just defies description. No, she doesn't. She's a bitch. I don't know. I'm stumbling over my own words here. I wasn't prepared for this. She's a wizard.
We love her. We love her. Honestly, I feel like that encompasses Sage perfectly. Next up, we have Andy.
Hi, my name's Andy. I write tabletop stuff, I voice act, and I play Owen Tanner, the eco-anarchist ranger.
Oh, fantastic. I love Owen. Next, we have Winter.
Hello, I am Mistress Winter. I am a TTRPG hobbyist and podcast producer and host over at All Our Faults under the TTN banner, very proudly. I play Suda / Naime in Magnificence here.
Amazing. Next in our line, we have Grace.
Hello, I'm Grace. I am just a sort of all-purpose nerd. And I play Caradwyn, an elven assassin who still has at least one secret. And that's it!
At least to Caradwyn's knowledge. Next up, we have Jacqueline.
Hey there, I am Jacqueline Chenault, all-around nerd as well. I do RPGs. I also sew lots of crazy things, so if you ever look at my stuff, that's what you'll find. And I play Elena, who is our resident noble person, but why does everyone just want her to do these noble things? She just wants to sit in her library and do her research and, discover cool things about the past, but, they keep dragging her into stuff, and yeah, she's probably got some secrets too, but, they're still secret. We'll find out.
Amazing. I love it. Can't wait to get into everyone's various secrets. Some they know of, some they don't know of, and they gonna find out.
Yeah, Kuvos, what the fuck? The end of that last episode. What the fuck, Kuvos?
Kuvos doesn't even know.
As always, before we jump in, just a big thank you to Sarson Games, again, who wrote the really amazing sourcebook that we use every day in our campaign, all from the gods to the homebrew subclasses. Please go check them out and show them some love. Again, that is Sarson Games, spelled Sarsen. Getting into our next session proper, a quick recap of what we've experienced as of late. The morning brought about various errands and various conversations to be had with various residents of the upper city. The party split off into a couple small groups, Olwyn specifically going off on his lonesome to people watch and gather information, as he has trained himself to do, learning of some very scandalous affairs along the way. Very juicy information to be sold and purchased later on. Suda and Kuvos continued into the upper city, briefly meeting up with Gen Little Dragon Warren, an associate of Suda's within the Jade Crawlers, who gave Suda a portion of the most recent bounty that they turned in. Gen Warren took notice of Kuvos, introduced herself, but quickly excused herself from their company, stating that she had some business to take care of over the next few weeks, and Suda should perhaps find a new partner if she wishes to pursue any more bounties. Taking off, the duo continued on towards Kuvos's errand for the Conclave, Suda stopping long enough to send off a letter to another contact of hers before they arrived at the small one-story office, quickly finding Kuvos's contact for the Conclave in a state of disarray, the office strewn about with various debris and struggle evidence, and Ushed Grumeno, the half-orc gentleman that Kuvos was assigned to speak with, found dead on the ground, with several dozens of lacerations and bite marks and open wounds lining his body. Cutting quickly over to the other half of our party with Alina, Caradwin, and Sage, speaking with the Dame of Thorns after a brief stop at the Monsin-Siro townhouse. The Dame of Thorns, otherwise known as Dame Cersei of House Shroudmore, welcomed the three into her parlor with open arms, very friendly and very joyful to see them all. Very quickly descending into business, as she brought up some very peculiar topics with the Lady Alina Monson, recounting some details of the rite of retribution and talking of marriage as a mutual contract between two people, but maybe a pursuit that she does not want to consider at this moment. Before eventually asking Alina to show up to the Dream's Crest tourney, showing her full support for the Dame Cersei of House Shroudmore, stating that if she were to do this, Dame Cersei would return her the favor by offering her a job in the time that follows after the tourney. Not being specific on the exact favor, but seeming to know exactly the sort of thing that Alina would ask for. The conversation finished with promise of meetings to come and maybe a bit more tension. Caradwin swiping a golden lion off of a side table as they leave, and the three descend into the streets. Olwen, having watched the entire affair from a nearby window, somewhat expertly lip-reading the whole situation, picking up on at least the important bits of the conversation. Cutting back over to our duo, Kuvos and Suda investigate and find some evidence of a struggle, and that the attacker is no longer here within the building. Kuvos contacting his magister and retrieving the conclave key from the body, as well as a strange letter noting for Ushed to meet up with someone called Knight Julin, the letter being signed off with the codename Sidestep. Kuvos, turning to leave, runs right into a ghostly figure of a broad, tall warrior gentleman who seems upset, anxious. Remarking to Kuvos that there is work to be done over and over, but not expanding upon it at this moment, promising that a better conversation is to be had later in the evening. With that, Kuvos leaves, the knowledge of the interaction still weighing on his mind as he goes to check in with Suda. And that is where we are going to pick up for our next session. At this time, when you, Kuvos, are going out to meet with Suda, I will say the rest of the party has already left Dame Cersei's house. So the three of you are on the streets, basically pondering your next move at the time this conversation is happening. Kuvos, you exit. Suda, we did not roll last time, so I'll go ahead and have you roll now. Just another investigation, just to kind of canvass the people around to see if anyone's heard anything.
Could I motion for persuasion, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely. That makes just as much sense.
I like how this one's starting off. Natural 20.
Oh! Hell yeah! I need like an air horn sound to play every time someone rolls a natural 20, because that's hilarious. There you go. Thank you, Winter.
You're
welcome. Do that every time. Amazing. With a nat 20 persuasion, what's the total, just out of curiosity of that?
26.
26, damn.
Yep. Persuasion
Yeah.
is one of my best.
Amazing. Warlocks, man. With a nat 20 for a total of 26 persuasion, you very expertly navigate the people walking by, making sure to not get in the way that they would dismiss you immediately out of hand, catching their attention just enough so that they would stop and have a conversation with you for a few moments. Not one person knows everything, so it takes the time that Kuvos is in there investigating, it takes that entire time for you to speak to several people. With that extremely high persuasion roll, the basics of what you learn is this: that the office is typically quiet and calm. There's not a lot of people going in and out. People see Ushed, people are somewhat familiar with him, they say hi sometimes, but he doesn't really closely associate himself with anyone else here, none of his neighbors in sort of this commercial district. There was a bit of a commotion coming out of his building a few days ago, a little under a week ago, but not enough to really warrant too much concern. To most people, it sounded like maybe he dropped something or something fell over. Nobody really has investigated it since, and nobody's really seen him since. So basically what you discern is that this conflict had to have happened a little less than a week ago, and no one took the time to look into it. So as far as people on the street know, nobody else has been in it or out.
Does that track? I mean, I know that Suda is not like some not trained in affairs of forensics and medicine, but you know, the smell of putrefaction and stuff from the corpse, does that track?
While not being an expert, you do have the thought of, I would have expected it to be worse had it been that long. So there is the suspicion of it not quite adding up.
Yes. Okay. Interesting.
And at this time, Kuvos does exit to join you.
And he would just kind of step up, look up at you, Suda, and just be like, well, any luck?
In the manor. Are you okay? You look a little pale.
And he kind of wipes his hands on the bottom of the coat. I had to move the body. It's fine.
Oh, well, this just strangest thing that people on the street are saying that they heard a commotion a week ago, which doesn't feel right, considering how good a condition that body's in.
I feel like it might have been squishier if it was around that long. DM, can Kuvos make some sort of medicine history to see if he knows anything about the decaying of corpses?
Yeah, I would say you would have to investigate the body directly. So you would have to go in and make a medicine check, which absolutely you can do if you like.
Yeah, he'll kind of furrow a brow, look at Suda. That's not right. And then just walk right back into the building.
Suda will follow.
And then he's gonna go look directly at the body, yeah?
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll medicine for me.
Okay, we're starting off much better than we did last time. That is a dirty 20 for medicine.
Woo-woo. Dirty, filthy 20. Love it.
Dirty 20. Dirty, dirty, dirty.
Dirty, nasty 20. With your dirty 20, again, you're not an expert in this sort of matter, but you are well read. You're learned enough that you know the timeline people on the street gave you doesn't add up. The body you're looking at is much fresher than that evidence would suggest. If you were to guess, it's had to have been, honestly, within the last 24 hours or so. You don't think it could have been any later than that?
Okay. He kind of looks back up at Suda. This corpse can't be any older than a day.
Is there some kind of magic at work? Possibly. I know that some have that there are spells that can preserve corpses.
He didn't pick up any sort of magic on the body, right?
Not so far, no. With the investigations that you have done so far, nothing.
Nothing that I know of that could have prevented it from decaying for that long. And it doesn't look like it's been magically affected in any way.
Then perhaps our next lead will have to be your missing shipment. If this contact was tied to that, then our only reasonable lead is to track down what happened with that shipment.
Well, I may have something to help with that. And he pulls out the letter, hands it over to Suda. Do either of these names sound familiar to you?
Go ahead and give me a history check.
Ooh, I'm actually proficient in that.
And Kuvos, you can go ahead and do the same. Your DC will be higher, however, due to your background.
Okay, sounds good.
22.
Hell yeah.
For Kuvos, that is a second dirty 20.
Oh, hell yeah, damn. So, right off the bat, the name that is signed as the writer of the letter, Sidestep, neither of you have any clue who that could be. It is a anonymous name that neither of you have ever heard of before. The only other name involved, Night Julin. Kuvos, nothing comes to mind for you. Suda, however, you recognize it. Not as anyone you've ever met or anyone you have interacted with, but there was a time you were doing some work with Gen in Mardeau. And you recall one of the people you were working for had an associate called Julin. You do recognize the name Night Julin, again, as an associate of an associate. Coming from House Drevin, spelled Drevyn. House Drevin is the 15th house of the Empire, the very bottom of the barrel.
I don't know this, what was it, Sidestep?
Yes.
But I did a job in Mardeau that I became aware of an individual named Julin. It was a third-party associate out of House Dreben.
Okay. So they were Empire, just as I thought. Seems like someone caught on to his dealings with us. That's a problem.
Perhaps. Would Julin still be out of Mardeau, or...
As far as you know, yes, he still operates within his house territory.
But the letter is saying to rendezvous with him, right?
Yeah, let me pull up the letter again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so I can read
Trying to remember exactly what the letter said.
What the hell I wrote down. So the letter, the last line that mentions that Julin says, "Please expect the next shipment before the season is done. Once it is received, wait for word from Night Julin." So it sounds like Ushed was expected to be contacted by Night Julin.
Okay.
So in essence, it's suggesting Night Julin basically was the one that gave next steps for this particular shipment.
Okay. Which also begs the question, why was the Empire gathering Salja?
Sorry, why was the Empire what?
Gathering Salja. At least that's what it sounds like if someone with an Empire contact was supposed to reach out to him about the next shipment.
How is the relationship between the Conclave and the Empire these days?
I don't know that there is one. to be honest.
That says to me that maybe the Empire is trying to divert some resources, potentially for some nefarious purpose.
Well, let's see if we can figure it out first.
Do you know where the shipment was supposed to arrive?
From what I understand, it was supposed to... So, for Emma to G, the shipment was supposed to be collected by Ushed and then delivered to the Conclave.
Yes, the shipment was supposed to be in Ushed's hands. He reported that it was missing. So he was the one that initiated this whole investigation. Was him making a report to the Conclave that the shipment was missing, which is why you were sent to speak with him directly and work with him to find it. So it was meant to be here, but from the notes of the job, it never arrived.
Okay.
So, either it was taken before he was able to pick it up, or
it was diverted somehow.
he received it and reported it missing.
That is another possibility.
As I said, it sounds like these things is money.
They would indeed be worthwhile, but dangerous in the wrong hands.
Yeah. So where should we start our search?
Well, if the shipment was stolen, like you said, some of those dealers might have come across it. Did we ask any of them?
I think I can shake one down there too.
That would be appreciated.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull what I did essentially in that first episode. Is find the nearest dealer, drug dealer.
Go back to the same dealers.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Not the same one. Well, though, it would be kind of funny if I come on to the same one and he's like,
Yeah.
no.
No, not again. I will say, before we get into it, I'll say, Kuvos, give me a history check.
Okay. 16.
16. So the production, the shipment, the selling, all of it of Salja is not itself illegal. People buy it from like street corner market shops as just like a little pick-me-up for spells. It's a controversial material due to its addictive nature, but it's not in and of itself illegal. The secrecy behind Ushed and the Conclave and their shipment was the fact that he was working for the Conclave within Shroudmoor territory. He would, without the Conclave involved, his shipments and production and everything and overseeing of all this would have been perfectly above board and legal. So it would have been a totally like official supplier, official like production, everything like that, if not for the fact that he was selling directly to the Conclave or like overseeing shipment to the Conclave. So it's less of a black market thing. It's more so I'm giving this to a person that I shouldn't.
Okay.
Okay.
I think in that case, Kuvos wouldn't necessarily... Kuvos would actually probably split off from Suda while she goes to talk to dealers and would start going to the marketplace. See if he could find some of these people who are selling Salja and figure out what above board suppliers they're using to see if any of them could have swiped the shipment possibly.
Yeah, absolutely. And Suda, you're still going to talk to like local dealers that you know?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Because even if they're not, if it's not an illegal substance, then they may know some rumors about shipments being misplaced.
Yeah, absolutely. Before we get into that, the three of you that left Dame Cersei's, Olwen, you have eyes on them as well, so you see when they leave. So you've done your eavesdropping, but you are also able to join them at any point that you like. The three of you that left Dame Cersei's, you guys kind of know the plan for the party as a whole. It sounds like it's kind of in agreement that you all want to talk to Duke Licho as a whole. So what are you three trying to do now that you've finished this conversation here? Are you trying to find everyone else? Are there any other errands? Kind of what's the thoughts?
I have no need. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say I've done everything I need to do. And as I will say, as we're walking, Elena's. We haven't spent that much time together, so you're still getting a vibe of this person, but she's definitely very contained in this moment and just like thinking a lot as they walk. But at some point, she'll say, "Are we meeting the others? Or is there anything else that you all need to do?"
Nothing that I need to do at the moment, but I did want to ask, because I believe in that conversation you did mention that you said, I think the phrase was my library?
Yes.
Sorry.
Wizard shit.
I'm an empathetic laugher. She's laughing at me and I appreciate it.
Oh, that's right. You didn't come all the way in. You came to the townhouse. That's the family townhouse. We've got multiple members of my family live there. But in my chambers, I've got I suppose it's just a study. To call it a library might be glorifying it, but I have a few pieces there.
Are they all about architecture at the beginning of...
It's a fair amount of history, not just architecture, but it's mostly historical. Yes, that's the focus of my library.
Pick that one because of the diagrams being something pictures people could look at. I see.
Something like that. I have an interest.
We could totally go and chill at Alina's house.
Sage is gnawing at the bars of her enclosure right now.
Yeah.
Books? I think now that we are back on the street and there is a little less to distract me, I am back sort of in the more introspective state, feeling perhaps a little agitated. It would be nice to have work. A task. There's a degree of curiosity about all this business with Duke Leto. Again, any excuse to really be welcomed into the house of nobility is always intriguing, though it's hardly stopped me before. But I would... this is more above table. I would be interested in picking up some work or doing something. I'm feeling very antsy, and so I will just sort of trail along behind Alina and Sage as they talk about books and libraries, things that are of absolutely no interest to me whatsoever.
I'm asking, like, what time periods the majority of her collection is from, etc., etc.
At some point, Elena drops very... How do I put this? Like, she kind of hesitates to really get into it, so you can tell there's something weird about it, but she does mention the Athenaeum, and that sort of a couple of times brings it up in a way that makes it clear, like, she has some connection to that library, and that, like,
mentions what? Sorry?
The Athenaeum, which is a G, of course, jump in if I'm going into weird details or incorrect, but basically a fairly well-known library, and it's like the library, one of the big libraries in the city, and very renowned for its collection and that sort of thing. To be associated with it in a professional way is like a real feather in someone's academic cap.
Yes, and I don't care at all
about
that. So I think I'm sort of trailing along behind, really in my head. I think perhaps, unconsciously sort of feeling along the embroidery on one of my sleeves in a very sort of self-soothing kind of manner, and just murmuring to myself, Delaspine, Rochelo, Sargona, Sahile, Katera, Sabarine, Bacala. I'm just like really trying to ground myself right now.
Yeah.
I don't care about books.
Absolutely. Yeah. So it seems when we loop back to the Rat's Maze, eventually when all the business here is concluded, we'll do Magda, and then you're gonna go to Zara's. I think you said Zara's, to see if there's any work to pick up.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we'll cover that when we loop back around and head back down south in the city.
Delightful.
Wonderful. Olwen, lurking on the rooftops like Batman. Yeah. Where are you headed?
God damn it. I don't want to go. Olwen does not want to go inside Elena's house, but also she mentioned she has books on history. So...
The house also has a pretty cool courtyard outside. Like, there's places to be where you don't have to be in the house if you don't want to. Just saying.
Can we possibly, asking, like, everybody, could we just meet up, reconvene at Alina's? Could we have done that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Set like we can all meet up here, and given the location of Alina's townhouse. If you guys want to use that as like a rendezvous point so everyone can be aware, yeah, absolutely. We can say you guys decided that before splitting off.
Doesn't mean you have to go inside, Olwen. Just like as a place we don't have to head back down to the Rat's Maids just to come back up to go to Tallcaster.
Well, no, it's he wants to go through the books. That's so okay. I think this is what Olwen's gonna do, and please tell me if I'm like stepping on some toes here or not. I would like to follow the party, and once we get to Elena's house, he's going to find a window that isn't locked very tight and go in through there.
Try to sneak into her townhouse.
Yeah,
get murdered by the guards. Oh my god! Yeah, absolutely.
I think Olwen is stupid enough to like choose to break into this house that he is more than welcome to like walk into than be seen walking into it.
Like, dude, you're welcome in. You can just...
This morning when Alina was getting dressed, she told all of her staff, like, oh yes, you should expect a strange, wild Earth Genasi man in furs and leather.
If he comes in through the window, don't be alarmed. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, what's, I'll say go ahead and roll me a stealth check, first of all. And then what is everyone's passive perception?
11.
11.
15.
15.
Also 15.
15. Okay.
I'm good at stealth. I just roll bad on it. 10.
Yeah, all of you guys turn the corner to the townhouse, and you see fully one leg in a window kind of hanging from the rooftop, Olwen like 3 stories up, halfway in one of your windows. And it's a moment of you turn and you see them as they see you, and all 4 of you just kind of staring at each other in awkward silence for a moment.
Lady Alina, perhaps you should consider getting some arcanely enhanced locks on your windows and doors.
I'm mostly wondering what he's doing at Hebe's window. Because Hebe, they don't play. Hebe will just smack them. I almost want to see this.
let me roll and see if Hebe's home.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's too low. Yeah. Oh man.
Walk in the door. She's gonna literally look around for a moment to make sure there's no one who really matters, who's gonna see this because issues, and then just like, just walk in the door. The guards will let you in. I told them to. We'll meet you inside.
You finish climbing in. You knock some stuff off of this person's desk as you enter. It's like, oh shit, whatever. You gotta run through. Amazing. So you all reconvene within Alina's family townhouse. I'm assuming in like Alina's personal study.
Yeah, this time Alina will say there's a combination in this townhouse of like living servants and unseen servants floating around. So like for every servant, there's probably at least one unseen servant that they've summoned, kind of thing. And so she kind of directs them to guide her friend. If any more of her friends arrive, gives descriptions of them, please send them straight through to my rooms, and then leads everyone through several hallways to get to her chambers.
Yeah, and just for fun, Alina, kind of feel free to describe your family townhome a bit. Kind of what does the party see?
Absolutely. So in the whole home that you're walking through, It's definitely lush, it's definitely moneyed. It's not skimping on any of that, but it's not loud and brash about it. Think old money rather than Trumpian style gold faucets kind of thing. Like, this is not about showing wealth or showing all of that. It's mostly just like, oh, we have enough to get quality things. And then also all of the places that are like seen by public or well used, those are like in impeccable condition. Things are perfect and as they should be. But if you happen to look around any of the corners, there are areas where it's like, no, this has just been here for so long that no one really knows anymore. So it's that like, just, we've been here a long time and we're not really doing the work to necessarily maintain everything because it's not worth it. And not shiny to the level, for those of us who were at the other house, it's not shiny to that like perfectly put together level. They're not there, this family. And then when we get to the personal rooms for Elena, double doors going in, and then as soon as she walks in, she puts her hand on like a stone on a table right next to the table, and an unseen servant like just sort of miss into the space and is her personal one, who immediately starts setting up some tea and things for people to eat and snack on. And so there's a little parlor sitting area that we all go into with just enough seats that we could all fit. It's a little bit snug, but we make it work. And then there are a set of doors in one direction that she specifically said Olwen, who or anyone who's mentioned books and says the books are in there. And that's the way into the library. And then there's another door off which goes to her bedroom, and she doesn't like send anyone that way. So yeah. And the library, if you've ever seen, think a smaller version of the Morgan Library in New York, if you've ever been in that. So lots of just books everywhere.
Yeah,
floor to ceiling.
Amazing.
Double
you guys are welcomed into this, despite like pristine outer appearance, very actually cozy, kind of welcoming space. Let into this small study, personal library area. And you are free to roam and investigate the books as Alina sees fit.
Olwen isn't going to go straight to the books and is going to turn to Elena and say, I'm not going to look through your tomes for free. What information are you looking for?
I'm sorry?
I'm not going to go through these without... The wild man wants to trade information for information.
I mean, I'm always looking for leads on things that are old, things that are from even before the Empire. I've been told that my collection for that information is actually quite vast, but I always want more information, more artifacts, anything like that. But also really anything. I like having information. I like collecting knowledge, and then making it available to those who need it, of course.
Sage's eyes are sparkling.
Anime style. They're like
Yes.
big and like...
Owen has his own prejudices about like nobility, so I would like to make an insight check on Elena, who I've had very rocky conversations
Yes,
with.
we have.
Yeah. What's like the vibe here currently?
Yeah, and
May
Alina,
I?
if you so desire, you can roll deception, persuasion, anything you see fits in opposed to this insight.
2 + 3, 5.
14 plus 8 persuasion.
Damn.
Yeah. She is being very, very truthful. This is someone who they have found their purpose in life, and it is research and learning. And so they have really dedicated themselves to like this one specific niche thing that they try to collect as much about it, information, artifacts, books, anything they can collect about this thing. They're like, ooh, yes, that thing. That, I want that. And
Okay.
they have the resources to spend on buying the stupid thing that just makes them happy because it's from this date or time or has that imprinter on it.
Okay. I have a question for G this time.
Yeah.
Looking at like this library, looking at the way that Elena talks about it, how big of a lead is this compared to anything else I've found over the past couple of years?
That is a good question. It is maybe not specific to the kind of things you're looking for, but it is more access to the general type of books that you need than you have had ever. You are not welcome into great libraries such as this. People don't like you, unfortunately. So while some of it may not be specific to what you want, it's in the same realm, and it's more than you've ever had. So you are confident you can find maybe something.
Okay. Olwen is going to look at Elena and say, I'm going to tell you about something very old. You are not allowed to write this down.
She'd just been about to gesture to her unseen servant who writes things for her, and then she waves her hand off. Please continue.
It's a song that's passed down through very few people in a language that I don't think you would understand. Know that I do not tell you this easily. I'll be honest, I'm looking for something. And if your collection is as big as it appears to be, then I need to find it. I just want you to understand the gravity of what I'm about to tell you.
I understand. I will keep it safe.
In a language that is in a language that no one can understand, Olwen is going to say, in the spire's west there lies a secret, one guarded close from those that seek it. Standing guards, ancient songs they whisper, their words stir the spirits of winter. Beneath the ice there lies a green glade, one yet unsoiled by blood, crown, or blade. Rolling hills and sweet flowers fertile, endless wilds, the verdant eternal. A place beyond the crowd or sword's claim, a glade untouched and one never tamed.
As the last word falls, Elena lets it fall and lets there be quiet for a moment. That was beautiful.
That sounds like where one might find the father tree.
Did we Well, were you saying it in a foreign language, in anything that you could understand, or were you translating it as you?
Oh, if it was said in like Druidic, then no, I wouldn't have said that. Sorry.
It's said in Druidic.
Would you translate it for us?
Yeah, like, that was beautiful. What does it mean?
If I find something, I might tell you.
And she actually she gestures to that unseen servant again, and you feel she gestures, and then you feel a little breeze at your side when they move to you, because of course they're invisible. And she says, "My servant can help you look. They are well versed in what is in this library. Perhaps even they know better than I do sometimes."
Olwen's going to move towards the library, and I'll just say this for like the rest of the party, because Olwen is the type of person to like hold pretty much like everything on like their on their sleeve. There's like visible shaking like going like through his body. In this moment he is like both terrified and like terrified and like nervous and just hoping that this works out.
I'm looking for things that are particularly from the late 8th, early 9th century. You have these organized by topic, typically, or time frame. You're muted.
There I go, trying to be all respectful. It's mostly by topic, time frame, more time frame than topic, and then you get into topic and author, or that sort of thing. again,
For
the sort of-
G,
the
I
sort
am
of
looking
copy.
for things that are from the same time period as my journal that I have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Okay. Before we launch into all of this big research, let's go ahead and solve Kuvos and Suda's own investigation before they join you all proper. So both of what you are trying to achieve is less investigation, more persuasion. You're trying to get people to talk to you guys and give you information, which Suda, great. Kuvos, good luck. Kuvos, you're wearing your coat.
And Kuvos can aid.
Yeah, you're wearing your coat on the blank side, right? You've flipped it around.
I turned it inside out. The
Okay.
conclave symbol is not visible anymore.
Great. So both of you, because you're doing like marketplaces for like legitimate suppliers, and Suda is doing like dealers. So both of you go ahead and give me persuasion checks as you do your investigations.
Okay. Can Kari help me with this?
Yeah, Kari can be so cute that people trust you more. Yeah,
Hell
she can
yeah.
she can give you the help action.
Kari is the majority of my charisma.
She's so cute that people want to talk to you to pet the turtle.
16 from me.
Okay.
Apparently, Dirty 20 is a
Oh,
trend
shit.
today, because
Some dirty,
I'm
dirty,
surprised-
nasty 20s.
I'm surprisingly proficient in persuasion, but I only have a
Damn.
+2 to charisma, so it was 16 plus 4.
Damn.
Just start calling them naughty 20s.
So let's see. In general, most of the information that Suda receives doesn't really point fingers anywhere. You basically learn that with confidence, main suppliers for this are outside of the city. Nothing too substantial beyond that. Kuvos, you learn the same, but a bit more specific. People point to the downside spires, that mountainous area, the northern area of Ancairn, the western area of Valensun, kind of that northwestern section of the map where all of the mountains are. So it's nearby. A lot of it is in Valensun and it's nearby the city, but it's kind of handled by a lot of people in sort of those outer fringe areas. But there are like official, legitimate like production lines that happen. None of them sound to be within the Conclave territory, so you can tell, at least.
Okay.
But unless there's anything else you two want to do in relation to this, we can just assume you guys go to Alina's townhouse and reconvene with the party.
I think Kuvos would want to find somewhere to sit down and write a more detailed letter for Magister Kieran, just to detail his findings a bit more.
Yeah, so basically just writing out a report to send to him?
Yes, exactly. And he would send it by outside courier.
Gotcha. So that is going all the way to not only Understone, but Wolves Landing. That is entirely on the other side of the Empire via outside courier. the cost for that, sorry, I'm calculating things in my head.
All good.
It's not cheap to send these things and have them try to be as confidential as possible, especially going from Seer's Morning directly into the heart of the Conclave. Because then there has to be discretion from the courier's point when they're leaving Shroudmoor territory. Having to answer to, like, guards where they're going, what they're doing. So that is going to put you out 40 gold.
Jesus. Okay. Kuvos doesn't
It's
have that
expensive to
right
be
now.
confidential.
Okay. Kuvos doesn't have that right now.
Yeah.
So he's not one of the Conclave rich kids. Unfortunately. They sent him with like 30 gold and that was it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you did just see Suda get past a whole bunch of coin.
that's true. Hearing the price, he's gonna be like, I'll be back. Like, say that to the courier. Just be like, I don't have that kind of money on me right now, but I'll be back in a moment with that coin.
Yeah.
And
Very
he would take the
presumptuous
letter
of you.
Go give Suda the puppy eyes.
He is a presumptuous little child. It's fine. He is going to go off and go to find Suda.
Yeah, absolutely.
Suda be waiting right outside, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
And at seeing her directly outside, I think he'd be a little surprised. Oh. Any luck with your search?
Nothing substantial.
That's unfortunate. So I know we haven't known each other very long. I have a favor to ask.
So we're reaching the next level of our relationship where we're doing things for each other.
I need to get a letter sent, and I need it to not be... I need to get a letter sent, and I don't have the gold on me to do it. Can I borrow 12 gold? I will pay you back as soon as I can find a job to get such gold back.
Maybe if I ever need a small favor, you acquiesce, maybe?
As long as the favor doesn't pit me against my own duties, then yes.
I would never try to turn the Conclave stooge against it. But very well. And we'll fish out the 12 coin.
Perfect. And he'll say, thank you. I'll be right back. And with Suda's lent money, is going to use all of his remaining gold plus the 12 he borrowed from Suda to send this letter.
Yeah,
hoping
absolutely.
that Magister Kieran will reimburse him later.
Yeah, you take it. The courier takes all of your money, shakes your hand, and takes the secured letter to take off to Wolves Landing. Amazing. All
That
right.
poor boy.
I know.
Poor
His infantry.
boy.
Yep.
Poor boy.
Anything else from Suda and Kuvos before reconvening? Nope. Okay. Wonderful. So yeah, you guys join just a few moments after the unseen servants allow you into the townhome and take you up to the library section where everyone else is, and kind of catch up time with everyone else. So we are kind of in this research portion. Kuvos, Suda, should you wish to research anything, you know, Alina's right there. Should you wish to ask her anything in terms of books or library. I know the two main people doing research is Sage and Olwen. So I will go ahead and ask both of you to give me an investigation check to see how well you are able to dig in. Olwen, you have the unseen servant directly aiding you, so you can roll this with advantage.
I also, as they're doing it, I would start, I've got instruments scattered around because Bard, so kind of grabs a lyre and just starts plucking at it and giving, I think I can give it, I don't think there's a limit to how many I can do because it's, I give Bardic Inspiration to both the people doing searches.
Thank you. Is that, what die is that right now for
D6,
you?
one
Thank
D6.
you. And Nightmare King, Nightmare King, I do have the researcher background trait.
You do? Why don't you read that out for us?
It doesn't super apply. Okay, so it's a little bit of an interprety thing. When you attempt to learn or recall a piece of lore, if you do not know that information, you often know where and from whom you can obtain it. So I'm hoping that can give me, I know the Dewey Decimal System, I know where I might be able to find things more easily in this library.
Sure, I like that. You've convinced
Yay!
me. Yeah, I like being
you.
able to use background featers. Yeah, roll with advantage. So you both have advantage and a bardic.
If you didn't, I was going to use that inspiration you gave me for writing the recap.
Okay. I only have +1 to intelligence, but because of the observant feat and the advantage, my passive investigation is 21. I don't know if that's going to matter, but I'll put it out there.
That's fair.
That's a 29. Nat 20. Nat 20, and I got a 2 on the bardic.
God damn.
We haven't broken 30 yet. We'll get there.
Those who were looking at the screen, I was like literally jumping out of my chair.
Sage just knows everything now.
Yeah. What's Olwen got?
That's only a 10. May I use my inspiration to reroll
You
it?
absolutely can.
Okay. Do I reroll it with advantage or just the one die?
Just roll one more time, essentially.
Okay.
While that's happening, just to set how Suda is in this familiar atmosphere, she is actively acting out against decorum. So crossed ankle boots on like the coffee table, lounging back, will not specifically will not accept or acknowledge the unseen servants. Will only work with flesh and blood servants.
Yep. Gotcha.
With the inspiration and the bardic, I can only get it up to 16.
16. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's go through Sage's first. You are searching for any and everything that is within the same time period as your journal, correct?
Yes. Specifically, I want to see if I can find anything. I don't know who the researcher was, right?
No.
So I am looking for specifically religious texts, in particular related to L'Aquila, but anything religion related from that late 8th, early 9th century time period where I think they might have lived, knowing that was sealed away a decade before I found it. I've kind of narrowed down the time frame to that point.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So with a nat 20 for a total of 29 for this investigation. Just based off of what Alina has in this library. So with that incredible roll, everything you find is what is in this library. So from that time period, we're talking late 800s, early... it was late 800s, early...
Late 700s. Late 700s. Yeah.
I'm a century
because
off.
I found I think, okay, this was the year I found it, and I have this narrowed down. I have it figured out.
Mhm.
The year that I found it was in 896 PE, and I
Mhm.
know that it was sealed away about a decade before that.
Mhm.
And I'm thinking the researcher is probably dead, so they were probably living for about a century before that.
Yeah,
So
Yeah, so you're really just doing your best to try to narrow down time period right now and seeing if you can't find anything about this researcher. Got it.
yes,
So-
and also any mentions of the patron, of course.
Of course. So you're going through late 700s, early 800s, post-Exodus Empire.
Mhm.
You find, looking at specifically religious texts, a lot of the information about some of like the final temples scattered throughout the empire making the move to Ancairn. Not entirely only in Ancairn, but at this point in time, majority of holy places are in that part of the empire. And some of the final major temples moved around this time period. So some of the final moves were done late 700s, early 800s. You, looking specifically at Linquilla and some of her followings, kind of matches up with the convent where you originally located this journal, of them making the final move around this time period and going to the same general area in which this convent was located. No specific names stick out to you, but you do find information about several almost like published articles or published papers that were kind of gaining traction around this time. Some due to just well-developed paper, well-written, well-researched. A few that were more controversial in their topics. Those controversial ones are ones that Sage would maybe focus on. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Of course.
So, digging more into the controversial publishings around this time of the temples receding back to Ancairn, a few of these more controversial publishings stick out to you. They are specifically detailing time before Empire. You've noticed in a lot of your research that time before Empire is a touchy history subject, because all of the most well-respected historians within the Empire gained their respect by ass-kissing to the Empire. And people don't like to think of the time before, because to them, all there ever is, all there ever was, and all there ever will be is the Empire. These kinds of historians coined that expression. So, even with all of this, there's not that much material. What you do learn following this trail in is that there were multiples of these studies published. They existed. And they were controversial, and they were purposefully hidden due to their controversial nature. It's difficult to guarantee, but it gives you a strong inkling. These are lost studies into time before Empire history. The journal you found details exactly that. There are more of these out there somewhere, and they happened during the time that the temples receded back to Ancairn. You would have to guess. They do exist, and you have a general idea of where they could be. So again, not too many details, just because Alina's library is not the grand end-all be-all, unfortunately. But with that amazing roll, you are sure in the fact that there is more to be found, and you have narrowed it down to one of 5 kingdoms within the Empire, which is honestly more than anyone could hope for.
Okay. So I find these references to this research, these papers, these textbooks, etc., that exist out in the world. They might be cited as references in the bibliographies and such, but not. These are papers that I haven't seen before.
Yes.
Okay, fascinating.
So I'll give you that.
Awesome. I love it. And to be clear, I did not expect a ton to be here. That would be too easy. And what's the fun in that?
Come on, guys.
So, oh yes, this is juicy. Yeah, you guys just see Sage just very confidently like flipping through, going straight to the back of flipping through, seeing like, oh, this is a book that's detailing this voyage that some clerics and priests and followers took, this pilgrimage as they moved their center, and she just flips straight to the back and starts looking through the sources.
Yeah, hell yeah. Amazing. Olwen, your investigation was 16, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So with your 16 investigation, going through, again, it's hard to get specifics within this limited library. With your investigation, you basically narrow down leads more than anything. More than any solid evidence, it's just where to go to ask next. The information that you read, you are looking into, similarly to Sage, more ancient history. That's what all these books are covering, is as old of history as has been recorded and is available. You end up reading through the downfall of every single druid grove that was throughout the 900 or so years since the birth of the empire. You read through the eradication of every single one of these druid groves, of how some were done by their own self-sabotage, some were the empire expanding and plowing down groves that refused to move out of the way to make room for progress, is how it's stated a lot of the time. But one way or another, you read through how these groves were over and over again completely decimated, wiped off the face of the earth. And as you kind of follow that line of the destroyed groves, you go down a period of time of basically famine, almost. Very quickly following the destruction of most of the druid groves, there was a period of time where crops simply would not grow. And researchers noted it down as almost a curse upon the land itself for the destruction that man had caused. And you're kind of following that trend, and there's no real conclusion to the famine. This happened like hundreds of years ago. I would probably place it around the 300s, so like 300 or so PE of the empire. So like 600 or so years ago to you guys now. It was this great famine, but there's never any documented like solid conclusion. It just kind of goes, oh yeah, there was a famine and people starved, and then 10 years later this happened. Like it leaves it pretty open-ended. And history picks up off of that without mentioning how it ended. Like, it continues on saying, yeah, there was a famine, stuff happened, then 10 years ago, crops were bountiful again, Like I said, there's no conclusion. It just kind of seems to have been left out conveniently, whether on purpose or for lack of information. You find yourself stuck on this period of time, this period of lost information, of how the empire bounced back from that time of curse upon the land itself. Something replenished the land to such an astounding degree, there's hardly ever any mention of a famine again for the next 600 years. Something took the land from that cursed, horrific state as a consequence of killing off the druid groves to completely restored within a few years. And that irks you. because there's no conclusion and no one can give a solid answer on what happened. It's just, oh, and then things got better. So there's no specific point to follow, but it sticks the idea in your head of the Druid Groves. In the modern day, basically none exist. There's rumors of one kind of in the Nyador Wilds, but its location and existence is very discussed, and no one can give straight answers. For now, with your 16, that is what you get. The destruction of the groves, followed by the famine, and its miraculous recovery. And 600 years later, there's no more mention of it.
If I could just describe, sort of like in contrast to like Sage doing her research, as Olwen goes through the books, he is slow and quiet, but it's not because he's methodical. It's because he's never had access to this much information all at once. Any sort of like anger or like the usual posturing that he carries himself with, a lot of it disappears. There is a desperation as he goes through pages that he can't read all that well, that he was taught how to read and he's never read something that was more than a few pages long. But he goes through it as slowly and as thoroughly as he can. It looks like someone who's way in over their head researching something impossible that maybe they have no chance of finding. He's crouched down on the ground, his face is incredibly close to the books. It's reminiscent of a beggar at an altar, just hoping and praying that this is it, that there's something here.
At some point, at some moment, at first she was going to have her servant do it, but then Elena actually does it herself. She gets just a glass of water, simple water, and brings it and sets it down, and then it's a metal pole, not a pole exactly, but it looks like a lamp, only there's no power to it. But she brings it over, she sets it on the floor next to him, and then she casts light on a ball at the very top, so it becomes a bit of light to help him read as he's doing his research. She doesn't say a word, none of that, just light and water and space.
In a quiet voice, in like the same language that very few people can understand, he whispers to himself, hoping that maybe that same thing, that same being that kept him company during that one time in that one blizzard hears it again. And he says, I'm sorry that they spent so long trying to kill you. They spent a lot of time doing that to us too. I know that you're trying your best to live, and so are we. I'm going to find you, I promise.
Olwen, as you finish flipping through this final tome in your hand, as it gives you an unsatisfying conclusion to this information, flipping to the final page, you see stamped on the back cover something that turns your stomach a bit. You see it stamped as a book coming from the Opus Athenium. A library, a grand research center, personally sponsored by House Oldfire.
As like he finds all the information he can, he wipes away like the very few the tears that are like He's trying his best to not have them flow. He wipes them from his eyes. He places it gently on a windowsill. And with the slightest whispers of magic, he's going to have a small flower grow.
All right. Coming to sort of the end of this research time amongst your party. You are all reconvened, having taken care of your various errands. There's a few things left to handle. Anyone else have anything to do while we're still here in this space and time?
I was going to ask, I don't know if Caradon was necessarily there for all of that, or if she'll have come in later at some point while there's a research frenzy going on. But I think once in the space, books aren't like my vibe. It's not like really my thing. But I would sort of like to casually look around, acting as though I am not interested in the contents of the library, merely bored and like browsing. But I would like to see if there is anything about Maroc. But like in a super chill, casual way to not tip anybody else off.
Yeah, like super chill and casual.
Just casually looking for stuff about gods.
Yeah, go ahead and give me... Yeah, give me an investigation.
No. It's a natural 1 + 1 for a total of 2.
Man, what the fuck is the Dewey Decimal System? I ain't reading all this shit.
It's it's like I'm sort of running my hands over and like I've opened a couple and then I'm just like I already it's like when someone who's comfortable reading English suddenly like has to dive into Shakespeare and you're just like, I'm not actually sure I want to get into this. Never mind.
Yeah, it's immediate 180 going like, yeah, no thank you. No thanks.
So I'll just sort of pace in the room, flipping a knife around and like cleaning my fingernails and very much like a tiger in a cage.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
I think I would like to touch base with Alina as I kind of wrap up and put everything back exactly where it's supposed to be. In fact, I think if there was something out of place on that shelf, I put it in the place it's supposed to be.
You reshelve a few things.
I reshelve a few things for her, I do think knowing that Alina has this deep interest in the ancient history of what was not the Empire at the time, and knowing that somebody who has that interest would not be the sort of person who would be appalled at somebody else looking into it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to pull out that journal that I have. It's this there's some watermarks on it. This thing was not stored properly and it makes your heart hurt a little, I imagine, Alina.
Absolutely. What is this?
You don't have much about it. I found references to things that might relate to it, and I want you to keep your eye out for it and maybe send me a letter or something if you find something else. I found this sealed away, not in any sort of library. It was just in a closet. The closet had flooded, and I found a door, and it was unlocked and all this sort of stuff. Not unlocked, it was kind of rotting. Anyway,
amazing it survived.
Research. It's not a book so much as and it's not a research journal. It's somebody's notes. And I'll show her, and this is a researcher's journal, full of notes about something that they refer to as the patron of knowledge. Some kind of omnipotent being, person, that they were in search of, that could answer supposedly any question.
Okay. Does that trigger any thoughts, things that I've read before, like other things?
I can say with absolute
Have I heard
confidence,
of this before?
Absolutely not. This is not anything. This is completely outside of the realm of anything you've ever researched.
Got it.
Rosie, you have those notes I originally sent you that kind of details what's in the journal. I have them right in front of me. If you care to share, or I can read them now.
I have them printed off.
Perfect.
That was the part that I sent a little video clip of my character notes to everybody before the campaign started. And if you remember a part that I put sticky notes over with a little sassy, that's a secret. That this is that.
I love that you printed them out. Please do share. So yeah, this is Alina. This is what is in the journal.
And I think Sage is explaining this out loud. Any of you may hear it being in this room. The only solid detail that is repeated across stories is that the patron of knowledge holds many faces, and that phrase is used repeatedly. Some believe that the patron might be more than one person. Some think that they might be a shape changer. This researcher, I don't know who she was, who he was, who they were. They're torn between the two possibilities themselves, whether it's multiple people or a shape changer or something. It's highly debated, held. Neither has been proved. Neither has more proof than the other. But the patron of knowledge was someone who lived before the founding of the empire, and whoever they were here before everyone. They became the patron because they're omnipotent. They know everything. They can answer everything. They see everything. People were able to find them and ask a question of them, and that's what the legends say, at least. They had to give some kind of boon in return. They had to do something in exchange for that answer. But they got that answer. It's legend, it's theory, it's not fact, but a lot of people think that the legend isn't real, but this person did. And from what I found, I don't think it's just legend. Most things that people are saying is just a legend, we know have at least some sliver of truth, if not they are true. There are people who don't even think the gods exist anymore, and that people just don't want to bother with things they don't understand. It's not just something that scholars tell themselves and fantasize about. I think it's out there, and I'm looking for it. So I don't know.
There are often, almost always, seeds, like you were saying, that there are seeds of truth in almost every mystery and every story. You just have to trace back what's been added onto to find the truth at the core of it. I'll keep my eyes open and my ears.
I think it's Sage's little comment about there are people who don't even think the gods are real. Hang on, I'm gonna just roll a deception.
Oh.
Hot 11.
Hot 11. So anyone's passive insight.
That does meet my passive insight.
Just a little, like,
mine beats it.
Twitch. I mean, there's that hit me in a personal way, and that's the little people don't think the gods are real, fools.
Yeah.
And then I go back to practicing my knife tricks. Yeah, trying not to think too hard about what I
rolled myself like a little restraint check, and I got a 12. Were you looking for something?
Me? No, just no. I'd like to move on, I suppose.
Elena kind of glances over at Suda with her feet on that coffee table that Elena went to that fancy but still the place that has used stuff that's really cool quality and really interesting. This is not something that is designed. She went and picked it herself. It is a special, everything in this place is special to her, and Suda's just got her feet on it. And Elena's just, I think you're not the only one who would like to get moving, if I'm not mistaken.
She's picking at her nails and looks up at, are we going?
We should go visit Leto. See if he's home.
Sun's finally coming up, so maybe he'll be awake.
Yeah.
Kuvos kind of closes the book. He kind of just grabbed something random to pass the time because he enjoys reading, but he doesn't have any particular research he was gonna do, and he'll put it back where he found it on the shelf. And
Absolutely. Okay.
Before we all leave like Elena's house, I'd like to catch her like alone before we go, like one more time.
Yeah, as you're walking out.
Owen is sort of like going to just catch her attention, and he's going to say, Elena, I hold no loyalty or fondness for the nobility. That's not a fact that I keep secret.
No.
But I am grateful. And I do not know what kind of person you are or where any of your loyalties lie. But I owe you a great deal for letting me go through your tomes today. If you need something, ask.
I appreciate the weight of what you are saying, and I won't insult it by saying that your thanks or your offer are unnecessary. But please know that you are welcome to go through my library further if you have need. I perhaps am more solitary in this than most, but I firmly believe that it's the job of those who have to support those who perhaps do not. It's not the job of those who have to hold on to or trot it in front of others, but instead to help where they can, as their skills and passions allow.
Olwen isn't going to respond, but he's going to extend his hand for a handshake as a sign, as a show of respect.
Elena takes it.
Amazing. So that bit of research, for anyone that so desires, can absolutely be counted as a short rest. I know the day has hardly begun, but if for any reason anyone wants to utilize it, after a stint of research, the party departs Alina's townhome, and with the guidance of Alina herself, are able to quickly cross through the upper city towards the small residence, basically like an embassy, seen as Duke Leto hails from outside of Valensun, a place for House Talcaster to have, much smaller than those noble houses native to this area, but still extravagant and nice all the same. You all approach the door, and I'm guessing Alina is kind of the face of this? Okay, wonderful. Yeah, you knock upon the door, I assume.
Of course.
A few moments
Knock on the door and then take a step back.
Yeah. An attendant comes to answer the door and is barely able to open their mouth and get a word out before you hear loudly echoing from the parlor beyond, wait, no, move out of the way, move, Lady Monson! enter!
Leto! and she immediately comes in. I have told you before, it's just Elena, it's not Lady, but lovely to see you as
Elena, my
always.
dear, yes. You guys see
Yes, cheek,
this
yes, cheek.
tall, lanky man with these incredibly gaudy, like bright blue, green, purple silk robes, like long, curly brown hair and the one blinded eye, just incredibly fancy twirled facial hair, just so extravagant in his presentation, rushes forward and just immediately hands on Alina's shoulders, clasping her, kiss on the cheek. Just like, wonderful to see you. Yes, come in. Who are you all? I don't know. Come in.
These are my friends. They're lovely.
Yes. I have been waiting so eagerly for you to come by. So eagerly. I knew you would come
Why
by.
didn't you tell me? You just need to send me a letter. I don't always know when you're in town.
But then this wonderful exchange would not happen. The
That's
fire
fair,
starter.
That's fair. What was?
His
You know
face
what we're here about.
You know what
Suddenly
we're here
so
about.
serious. Yes, I have been waiting so eagerly. I'm so glad all of you came by today. You think I did not know it was stolen? You think I did not have my eyes on it? No, I wanted to see it in an uncontrolled environment. Who do you think lets those children steal it from me? You think I would be so crass?
Leto. Are you saying?
All in the name of research,
All right,
my
wait,
dear.
Was it all? What parts of that were the experiment, Leto? We need to know.
Yes.
Were the all of it?
Now you can teach my girl. He says, tapping the side of his nose.
Leto.
Oh, it's fine.
Like-
Nobody got hurt seriously except for a few dead bodies in the courtyard. It's fine. It's fine.
I killed someone, Leto.
Who hasn't? Now, let's go. Come sit.
Gosh, she follows him in, just kind of rubbing at a spot on her forehead, just like, this is gonna be the death of me. It's going to kill us all.
I like
Kill
him.
us all.
I'm struggling so hard because I, Rosalie, love this man and I have no idea how Sage feels about him.
I think any amount of softness Olwen was feeling, like just completely disappears as he hears this man talk so blatantly about the death of so many people.
Hey, look, he's unstable. That much is very clear.
And in reverse, his comment about like, who among us hasn't, killed somebody? Cardone's like, okay, he gets it.
Yeah. She's like, yeah, rock on. I'm like, yeah.
Seems cool.
Oh, yeah.
As they're walking in, and mostly by way of small talk, Elena's basically saying, like, I told you, if you're going to do experiments in the city, you need to let me know first. I can help you make them run more smoothly and make sure there aren't any side effects so that no one decides to try and claim retribution on you.
I know, but every time someone tells me, Lito, you need to tell us beforehand to let us know ahead of time that they try to infringe on the research. I want pure, unfiltered science! And this is what I get! Anyways, come sit.
Wouldn't it be better to have more control over the research environment so you know that there aren't other factors affecting it?
No. Now! Just continues
This
on.
man is not a scientist.
Yeah, he's crazy.
I fucking love him.
He just continues on, raising his hands high in the air. Now, like I said, I had eyes on it the entire time. All of it did, I would not say go according to plan, because I did not plan for most of it. My plan was, hey, go nuts. And it did go nuts, but it turned out all right. Okay, so, my issue...
Did you put the helmet on it? Did it have a helmet? I'm like taking out a notebook.
No, that is the fascinating thing. It was already there.
Really?
Yes, it was already there. It grew with the creature! At least I assume. So,
Yes. It was the size of a small cat when it was taken from you.
oh,
Is what we were told.
yes, how big did it get again?
Yes, it was approximately the size of a horse, I think. Does that sound about right? I'm looking at the others.
It was...
Good.
Yes.
Then it follows the same pattern as all the others.
The others?
Yes, my girl. Here's my issue. Have you all heard of a beautiful hidden little gem? Something that has come up from the surface recently. A new discovery in an old, old land. Something that I will certainly be the shepherd of. A place that I need assistance looking into. And once I heard of your success in taking down the fire starter, well, I knew that you 6 people here before me are the ones I need to take this expedition to the next level. Now, I have sent mercenary and mercenary alike down into the hole to research and bring the creatures back to me so that I may poke and prod at them. But they are mercenaries, hired swords. They do not have the scientific, learned mind such as we do. That is why I need to go down myself. But as you would guess, I am rubbish with sword. Cannot fight, cannot punch. I once got hit so hard in the ribs. I did not walk for a week. And that was my younger cousin.
I was there
who
for
hit
that,
me.
remember?
Yes, she was.
I was there for that, remember?
She was 11 years old and she hit me so hard I was bedridden for a week.
Arms like spaghetti.
Yes, yeah, I have brittle bones. I am not a fighter, is what I am saying. So, you 6, you have experience in fighting these things. And, points to Sage specifically, an inquisitive mind it seems. No. Yeah, of course you do.
I mean, I can't deny it.
So, what I propose involves every single one of you. I will not go if one is missing. I hire all or none. Good. All agreed. So,
Hold on. What is the compensation for this thing?
What is the job?
He takes
That's a
out a
good
piece of
question.
paper
The
that is like
compensation
part.
half
If
crumpled.
people are going to die again, I don't want that to happen.
Let's see.
It
People always
sounds like
die.
we're to delve into some cavern.
6,000 gold.
Done.
Each?
That stops Suda like mid sentence. Like,
I don't know what each of your rates are. Would 6,000 each work okay? You good?
Fine.
each?
Yes, each. Is that below the rate? So what is the
How-
normal rates these days?
Is that in line with what
that
I've
is
heard
that
him
is great.
offering
I will
for
take it.
things? Is that
Shush.
no? This is above table.
Yeah.
JQ is asking.
yeah,
DM,
please.
Is this above what he might otherwise like? Is this a larger number than I've heard him offer for things in the past?
I mean, this sounds about right. This sounds about average.
Okay, cool. So it's not like he's doing super high hazard pay or something.
Oh, yeah.
For something that he knows is bad. Okay, cool.
Just to make it clear to me, the Opisa Athenium, that's a place, right? Or did I get that wrong?
yes, that is a place. It is.
It's Nahum, yeah.
It's like a grand library that is personally sponsored by Household Fire.
And it's in the city.
Yeah, it's here in the city.
Okay, Owen will speak up and say, if I help with this, can you grant me access to the Opisa Athenium?
Elena's face gets very shuddered immediately.
Let me pull something up real quick for in terms of noble houses. Give me half a sec.
Me also flipping to the page of my notes where I have all the noble houses listed.
Okay. He pauses, considers. Household Fire and I are on all right terms. My house and their house are okay. We have aligned interests, so I can see about that. If you wish to include that in your price, I am more than happy to do so.
Deal.
Excellent. So, let me tell you all about the pretty little place beneath the rock over in Mardor. I assume you have all heard of the devastating earthquake that happened recently. Yes. Within the last few months or so, I know not everybody pays attention to current events, but here we are. Underneath the city, we have discovered new life. Well, not life, unlife, undeath, death, empty city. Entire underground city! I have taken to calling it Mor Akros, the city of the rotten root, the pinnacle of the unknown. This is the place that we will go to. It is a week or so journey, down straight into the underground before you hit the city. And then we dedicate as much time as we need to explore the city. As I said.
Will House Malright grant us access? Isn't it them who discovered it?
That is the kicker. The Witch Queen Sela is trying to get the issues of a land claim worked out with House Gravestark. You see, the territory is technically within House Gravestark's territory, but the Witch Queen Sela rules over all of Mardeau and wishes to claim it for herself, especially since the discovery of the underground city. You see, Mor Akros is a unpredictable resource that the Witch Queen wants to claim for herself. I am going down partially on her behalf. She is partially who is sponsoring most of this expedition. She wants to claim it by someone who works under her name before House Gravestark has any opportunity to do so first. Which, let's be honest, the young Archduchess Calspira is not going to be sending any expeditions down there anytime soon. You know what I mean? Anyways, we are sponsored. We are approved to go down. House Gravestark can throw a fit all they like. They can stomp their feet and complain to the Sovereign. I think everyone has more important duties on their mind than what good old Leto is doing underground. Point is, as I said, I wish to go down there myself. See what I can discern. The mercenaries I have sent, they never came back. They are dead, probably, or fell down a crevice. We're still down there. Who knows what they are? They have not come back, is the issue. So we need to go down there ourselves. Myself, you six, and a small team of my other researchers must venture down a week into the underground, find Mor Akros, and find the heart of the city. I wish to understand it. I wish to know all of its secrets. And I wish to know, as I said, where the Firestarter and old creatures of similar make are coming from. We have pulled them from Mor Akros before. That is where they are coming from, is this underground city, and I wish to know why.
Kuvos, if it's the six of us, or not at all, will we be able to go?
Well, for that much gold, I don't see why not. I can barter for some more time on my other duties.
Leto.
Hmm.
Leto.
Elena?
Darling.
Yes? What do you ask of me?
You know that thing in your collection that I have always wanted. You're throwing that in, right?
He says, clutching at his heart, dramatically putting the back of his hand against his forehead. You wound me with such bargaining. Look at you, growing into a pinnacle of bargaining, diplomacy.
I mean, I learned from you.
That is true. All right, I am much too eager to get down there. I honestly am not in the mood for negotiations either. What is this? Words passed back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Yes, good. We go. Yes. Gold. Relic. Library. Adventure. Science. You all sit around this extremely unhinged researcher, him screaming his pitch in your face. It seems many are in agreement of the offer placed before you. Accompany Duke Leto, this avid researcher of the unknown and historic, down into the recently unearthed city of Mor Akros, the city of the rotten roots, the pinnacle of the unknown, and assist him in finding the heart of the city and all mysteries that lie within it, including the strange creatures that come from the deep, such as the Firestarter that you fought merely the night before. The offer is set in front of you. The price seems more than negotiable. And you all have a decision to make on whether or not to continue this quest as a fully formed party of six diving into adventure and mystery, or to maybe go your own way, which, for 6,000 gold, who would choose the opposite? With that, we are going to wrap up this week's episode.
Field trip.
Thank you all so much for watching. I'm so excited to get into the details of this mysterious expedition down into the underground. We will see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining us. I sincerely hope you are enjoying the story so far. I know I am. Everyone, take care of yourselves today and have a wonderful time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Don't commit crimes against humanity for science.